We have Diane Sahms-Guarnieri. She is a native Philadelphian, and she is the author of 3 full-length poetry collections, Images of Being, Light's Battered Edge, and Night Sweat, which is available on Amazon. Her poems have appeared in numerous online and print publications, and she's been awarded a grant in poetry from the AEV Foundation and named a winner of the 2015 Working People's Poetry Competition. Diane has served as a poet in residence at the Ryers Museum and Library and as a poetry editor of the Fox Chase Review. And now, if I remember now correctly, Emil, that is her items that are out on the table then? Yes, okay. So you've got some things out on the table for us. So Diane, welcome to Café Improv.
Thank you, Café Improv. Is this on? Okay. For inviting me to read here again this evening. It's always great to be in Princeton. And I think we should thank the people who host this, Tom, Mary, and the camera people. Thank you. It's very generous of your time. I like to start with the poem, Chorus of Crickets Sing Me. Chorus of crickets sing me to sleep someday when last cradle night is nigh, your gentlest drowning rattling during last breath's ghostly protestations. Chorus of crickets sing me into autumn's lamentations, and I readily someday go, a ruby leaf having once shone of emerald days, falls silently upon earth. Chorus of crickets sing me into the void where reduced into smallest atom I glow orange, a hot coal slowly turning ash like richest reddish orange sunset. Chorus of crickets sing me one of clay red, as if the least particle left held a positive charge, knowing I was truly only for a moment breathed breath of dust. In my next poem, I mentioned the opera La Traviata, which ends with a woman who has TB dying in her lover's arms. Listening to Act 3, La Traviata, radio lightly resting at Saturday night's window, strapless back against a dying cough. Frozen, falling flakes, a cloud torn asunder, like down feathers shaken loose, swirling millions of pieces of lonesomeness as Violetta drops into Alfredo's arms. And that was when I thought I heard you fumbling at the door, but it wasn't anyone, only a ghost deeply dressed in heartless rags of operatic windsong. Pounding head, stop your foolishness. He will not come. You've been stood up, and she will die. So I've been listening to a lot of classical music in my older age, and I love Vivaldi's violins. So this is inspired by Vivaldi. Sweet violins from depths of thunder drawl the ladles of cool refreshment, knowing that father in elder years finds refuge in chalice of wine's forgiveness, body's broken bread. Spirit of Vivaldi's violins, alive, deeply cutting their piercing cries through heart's dark, dying vibrations. As if strings spanned east and west of life, from blighted spring storms, then sun's returning playfulness inside the long neck of summers. His last autumn's full red reverberations whisked away into white-whiskered wisdom of winter, whereby after this final sliding of bows, pulled taut as the strings of spirit, lifting, falling, lifting out of a hollowed out body, with such intense musical passion elevated, sounds resounding sounds as cyclical seasonal patterns, now May he too soar as eagle over radiant evergreens laced in finest snow, over the strong stone mountain. Thank you. So I have these little backyard visitors at my feeder, and I'm sure you're familiar with the dark-eyed joncos. I really love birds, and they've been visiting me the last couple winters, so I wrote a poem for them. Dark-eyed joncos. They come unannounced, 8 to a dozen, bursting white breasts out of black feathers, these whirlwings of winter, as if they are wearing long-tail tuxedos. They are marvelous. They are wondrous. From every angle direction infiltrating my small city yard. First time I have seen these migratory Canadians and believe they carry the light within them under radiant white shields that they wear on dazzled breasts, like joy of some sort. They have made winter new somehow, even magical, like today, under dull dome of bleak light, pale and gray, thick as an elephant's hide. The way their cotton candy-colored beaks take turns, pecking and unpecking a Christmas cake thrown out to them this morning, baton branches of dogwood swaying in musical wind where they eat. Some dive from cliff of air onto a snow-covered lawn, soft as a trampoline. Several hurdle a 5-foot fence, then swoop low. From a top garage, others hang glide, and with ease of a trapeze artist, one sits within wiry diamond of the cyclone fence. Then one and another, as miniature magicians, seem to make themselves disappear, breasts camouflage as snowy branches, far enough away in morning light's mixture. Flurries and snow dust swirl, sparkling silvery ash twirl into ghostly dance. It's as though their poppy seed eyes of black globes hold the whole of creation in their small, steady stare, entertaining as live theater. I watched this unfold and refold itself for nearly 2 hours. Mine filming through lenses of my eyes, as your eyes move across this page, as if you were watching a scene now frozen into the window pane of this page. So I decided to read this after my friend read something for me here this evening. So this is just a quick poem. It's called Footprints. I felt them, your footprints leaving through my body's hallway, holy as a soul leaving its body. And inside absence of you, I hear the moment when an owl's voice leaves its hollow breast, entering air as question, who are you? You whose presence fills emptiness within me like baptismal water. And if I were an oak leaf, you would be the veins running their pattern through me. Thank you. My last poem was inspired by a train ride across Pennsylvania, where I witnessed desolate shells of mills and factory, the fading flag of America's middle class. Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, like a pen that's lost its ink, a pervasive loneliness invades your propped up body. 3 rivers, bridges connecting the disconnect. Time to cross over and not look back at who you once were. Learn what you can. Move forward. Parts of you will surely be left behind like the city of steel that has died. Once its mighty furnaces built this nation. Now ghosts sing the lost lives of those no longer here. Time has passed. It moves on into the future. Enlightened Emerson says to forget regret, forget memory. The soul must soar toward everlasting. Yet China builds steel empires to our forgotten gods, disturbing as smoke billowing atomic clouds out of nuclear power plants. June's Alleghenies, thick forests green, brown creeks wash our state's wounded feet, unemployment deep as a dugout quarry, rough and quick as rapids, stagnant as a tree-dead pond. Muddy rivers running wild and hungry, and rhythmic as a train rocking its sway from side to side, the hunchback clouds walk the top bridge with slow motion urgency, sun beating on their backs like a chain gang. Philadelphia via rails. Paoli, Lancaster, Elizabethtown, Harrisburg, Lewistown, Huntington, Tyrone, Altoona, Johnstown, Latrobe, Greensburg, Pittsburgh. This is the homeland I know. I know none better. Generations of families have lived here in every root-reaching foothold, in rich soil of timelessness, of sun. I bless this land. An engine pulls its many cars along rails blasted through mountain, winding way through forest, where every shadow has a story, each tree's testament, its wisdom and leafy green prayers to June proud rays, prevalence of green. All these waterways like veins running secretly through time's hidden mountains and valleys, coal cars still packed with black dust. Oh, loved ones, ancestors to us all, how in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh I sung hard-hearted battle hymns, your bones laid at strangers' feet. They ran away from your tombs of shadow, clothes soaked in blood, whose sweat sang our state alive, whose raised ashes scattered, beat death's strung-out songs, filling the wind's chattering teeth, the buried banging of your death's toll. Church bell tongues now silenced into the reading room space of a little room in a grand library 300 miles from home. I sang your elegies, and after reading your life songs, cried as if I had come from each of your funerals. I am ashamed of myself. I cannot bury the ashes of your smoldering days gone by. How can one drink each night from Lethe and rise the next day forgetting the previous day? I have failed to forget you, turned to rust and ash like the steel mills and rail yards of Altoona and Johnstown. I release your ashes to the wind of time, but they circle back, blinding my eyes in acidic tears. They burn through forgetfulness. All of you rise in front of me, and I see and hear you. I tear my garments from my body, swim in cloudy waters of chlorinated skies where clouds surrender to you, where I see your faces reflected in lakes, rivers, and mountains, whose silence screams from pinnacles. I swim away from the other side of Lethe, and I wake to your sleeping faces in the shapes of clouds until they lose their fluffy resemblances and become skeletons, skulls, where I see the blue sky in holes that once were your steel eyes. Thank you.
Diane Sahms-Guarnieri, thank you very much. And you brought books, yes? There are books here? Yes, she has books outside. Take a look at them. This Cafe Improv happens on the fourth Saturday of every month. We wanted to mention a couple things. One thing is the show, Cafe Improv, is recorded and broadcast on Princeton Television, which happens on Monday nights at 8 o'clock.